Greetings.
Greetings. Welcome. Oh, we already got someone joining us. Thank you for tapping in on this beautiful Circle of Sisters podcast. I am your host, Lady Unk, here with my sacred sister, Sierta Shakim, Chantel Sierta Shakim. Ashe, oh.
Ashe. We welcome you all to this space today. We are discussing our social distractions today. As we show up every day in our lives, we want to remind you guys that we are the soul sisters speaking out and fixing crowns in the process. So, as we get into today's discussion, we want to make sure that everyone in our social media audience feels welcomed and can come into the space and make your presence known, because this is definitely about how social media shows up in our lives every day.
Yes, and I am just sitting here welcoming you all to the chat as well. So we are opening the chat. This is an open discussion. So if there is anything that you want to tap into within the circle, you want to leave a comment, you have a question you want asked with anything that we discuss, go ahead and drop it in the chat at any social platform you're watching us on, and we'll be able to answer those questions live here on air. Today's topic is one that affects each and every one of us. We live in the age of technology. We have full-on computers at our fingertips. And because of that, it comes with a lot of distractions. So today we are talking about the daily distractions that we have with technology and how we can overcome those distractions and not be how can I say manipulated by that which we see on the TV screens, the computer screens, or even our own phones. On the TV screen, the computer screens, or even our own phones. I want to start off. Ooh, well, that didn't go all the way correct. I want to start off.
Get us right.
Look, okay. I'm like, that did not. I was trying to say welcome to the circle, and I said welcome to the circle.
Well, welcome to the circle. Nonetheless, we are learning how to navigate technology as we venture into the land of the unknown. You know, we are both not 100% novice social media experts or anything like that, but we have encountered utilizing technology, and we are choosing to use technology, even social media, to come into your space today and every day from here on out. So what with that, let's talk about how important social media has shown to be in just the evolution of our own consciousness. I was speaking with a couple of friends today, and we were discussing this matter, just kind of getting a feel of what people are thinking. But you know, AI, technology, social media, as one person said, it's not really creating much of a social environment, right? Most of the time when people are on their phones, they're scrolling independently, no interaction with the people in the room. So as we look at that, in that being just a distraction first and foremost, let's talk about how, instead of it being a social tool, it's really a tool of isolation.
I say. One of the things that I've struggled with since phones have gotten into everyone's hands, since we are taking them everywhere with us, we don't leave or go anywhere without them. One of the things that has really puzzled me is how we are unable to communicate in person anymore. It seems like our communication with one another has really started to shift and to struggle because of social media. On social media, you can be anyone you want, say anything you want, and it makes the younger generation, I think, it's harder for them to show up in person because they've been so shielded by being able to say what they want on social media and not really knowing how to show up in person. When we talk about the daily distraction of not just social media, but honestly, media as a whole, they are shooting images at us, right? We are
Mhm.
imagery of various products to buy, various food to eat, supplements or medications to take, right? Um,
Or illnesses that you need because you're going to have this ailment, right?
exactly.
You might have, look, if you have these disorders or signs and symptoms, you may need this medicine. But, like, really?
Exactly. And even that, I'm glad that you mentioned that. There is so much of the media that is trained or targeted to trigger us in a particular way, right? If
Yeah.
you're trying to eat well and you turn on the TV, within about 5 minutes, you saw a hamburger ad, you saw ads of not so healthy food or not so healthy options that you can really call up. You could use the technology of your phone to call and have it even delivered to you. And so, because of these distractions, it honestly takes us off of our soul path and our soul mission. And one of the things about this channel is really talking about the social aspects of what we are dealing with. And how that affects our mind, our mental, right, our emotional, and our physical being with these particular distractions. And commercials, I think, are one of the huge distractions that we face because most people have a TV in their home. And with that, you are bombarded with ads, advertisement, one after the next, one after the next, that is training your mind or telling your mind, this is what I need. This is what I need to go get. This is where I am. This is what I'm dealing with. This sounds like a disease I have. This sounds like something I need to get for my mom. And it's really controlling our thoughts and our actions.
Right, right. So when we look at that, that goes back to minding again what we allow, right? And what kind of things we bring into our experience. I know, we constantly get drawn into the social media, but what are we bringing into the social media? Or what are we searching or googling or liking that will continue to bring things to you or create an algorithm even for you personally to begin to uplift and enrich your life. It's like we can allow AI to use us or we can begin to use it. So with that being said, as we're scrolling and googling, I know two main or big issues now that is circulating throughout the social media are currently the P. Diddy thing with entertainment,
Right.
the debate with Trump and Kamala, or the political things, or even the hurricane, right?
Yes.
And how many lives that has touched. I'm just throwing those out because those are things that I see has come across my thread based on the people who I follow and what they've commented on. So it's kind of like I don't really watch TV. If I do, it's a movie or something on Tubi. But even on that, I just learned, honey, that as they said, you might need to go get your heart valves checked. I'm like, what? When we start checking heart valves now, right? So I'm like, this is a new thing, even coming from a medical background. It's like now we checking heart valves and the heart looking like a mouthpiece that is speaking to you. Like, how you do the comment,
Oh, yeah.
that comment bubble, that's what the valve looking like. I'm like, really? This is interesting. So we have all these things that come up and they give us subliminal messages, really, right? all the advertisement, all the social media, it's really helping to program or reprogram or keep us stuck in a program that we've
Deprogram.
agreed to. That we've agreed
Exactly.
to.
Exactly. And one of the things that we you touched on for a second that I really want to drop into is the algorithm, because the
Mhm.
algorithm is super important. We all know that we have smartphones, smart devices, right? And when they release smartphones, I don't think, or smart devices, I don't think they really gave you an understanding of what that is. And so let me break that down for you. That means that your phone has always had, to some degree, a AI technology within it. We're hearing about our AI more mainstream now because they're showing you all the things that AI can do. But for at least the last, I would say, 2 decades, phones have had the AI capability. What do I mean by that? When we first got smartphones, right? That was a little while ago. Our phone was able to pick up on our habits, the way we use the phone, the way we interact with the phone. Because technology has grown, it is now picking up audio. Have you ever noticed that you're talking about, oh, I need a new pair of shoes, and then the next thing you know, you're all the
Being
Facebook ads
added.
are of shoes? This is
Mhm.
what we're talking about with the AI technology, the smartphones, and the social media. It's really important that we understand that we are literally controlling our reality.
Yes.
When we have these phones and these devices in our hands, whatever we're talking about, whatever we're searching on, the computer part, the AI part of the phone is actually recording all of that. They're recording that. So whatever you scrolling and watching over and over again, whatever you're commenting on, that will increase those things being shown to your phone. And I always have I find it odd that even in today that I have friends that'll say, I don't know why these dancing videos keep popping up on my phones, or why these particular videos keep popping up on my phone. I don't want to see that. And I don't think a lot of us realize that what we pay attention to is what the phone or the algorithm is going to send you more of. When we were experiencing a lot of talk and debate in regards to sexuality, I was very vocal at that time. I was vocal on chats, on whatever, saying whatever, right? I was saying my piece wherever I was. And then I started to notice that a lot of my feed was starting to be of that. This is stuff that I'm talking against. I'm speaking out against, right? And I'm getting a bunch of feed that's just sending it to me. Why? Because my attention was towards that. The phone picked it up and sent me more of what my attention was on.
Let's talk about that real quick,
Mm-hmm.
because that is how it works, right? Wherever our attention goes, energy flows. And in that flow of energy, you're creating more of it. And that's a part of that. We're manifesting even not knowingly, right? And then on the flip side of it, sometimes are like what they say, you're giving attention to it, whether it be positive for it or against it. Once you click on it, once you comment on it, it's like, give me more of this. And it's very interesting because it can also shift. What they're trying to do is, the program is trying to do is give you what you want. Give you what you want, whether you intentionally are speaking against it or not. So it becomes now a distraction because you're fuming energy into something that you don't even want to have anything
To do
to do with.
with.
So being mindful of that, and knowing that the way that we can show up in our truth is to really begin to put out content and support content that speaks about the issues you want to hear about, so that those will be streaming on your line, and those will be coming back to you as well. This is one way that we can pull this energy back into a circle of peace, joy, good success, and all those good things that we want to experience. I had a, and the algorithm is very tricky too. So I had an instance just last night of an Instagram reel that came through as I was trying to post up our post. And it said POV, showing up to my boyfriend's daughter's house for her birthday. I'm thinking, oh, that would be nice, girl. Definitely not what I wanted to see. Definitely not what I expected. But even that, because I always keep things muted until I see something that gets my attention, right? And it's just that easy. And then that one click sent my mind and my emotions in so many different areas that I normally don't visit. But as I spoke to another sister, she was saying that we must see the polarity, though. We have to see. We can't be so high in the sky that we don't know that this other is going on, right? So I see that as a positive way that we can utilize social media and not allow it to be a distraction, but just to stay present, to know that these things are out here. And how do you show up when they present themselves into your space?
Absolutely, absolutely. And we have to understand that the media, our former President Trump would say fake news, because a lot of it is altered. A lot of it is, now with all of the levels of technology, images can be completely duped. We can put out something that is not 100% true, and it could go viral and take off, and now a completely new narrative is created. So it really puts a added layer of discernment that you have to have as an individual to what you're going to partake in. Right now, socially, our community is very up in the uproar about what is happening with our entertainment moguls. And as we talk about the daily distractions, we all know that entertainment, for the most part, is a huge, and I don't want to say distraction, because I actually love entertainment. Entertainment is something that, from the time we were enslaved on this land, it has been something that has helped to uplift our spirits. But if we've noticed the trajectory of where the news outlets, the entertainment industry is going, a lot of the images that are being used, a lot of the words that are being spoken, a lot of what is going on is honestly lower vibrational frequency behavior.
Information and behavior, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so what it's doing is, because this shift is happening and so many of us are raising our vibrations, are tapping into our own divine intuition, are starting to heal past generational trauma, what this is doing is pushing us and forcing us back into those lower vibrational frequencies. And so, although y'all, look, I'll be the first to tell y'all, I love me some Cardi B. Cardi B, I don't know, something about her I love. I even bought her songs on vinyl because I just like her energy. However, I cannot stay in that energy for long. That might be because I want to, get this Kundalini energy rising. So I may put on something to help me cultivate that energy and dance and shake these hips. However, I can't stay in that frequency because there isn't much for me to pull from that vibration.
That is true. That is true. And it's all necessary, right? It's all necessary. And really, when it comes to honoring yourself and knowing what you need for you in that moment without getting just pulled so deep into it. I've noticed before, when I've just taken time to just see what the norms and see what people are doing, the scrolling, what is it, doom scrolling that they do. It's like you're not even moving any information. In some sense of it, you have just been stuck. You've been pulled, all your energy has been pulled into the social media energies that you can't even move, And it's like for hours, you look up and you like, what? I've been on this for 4 hours, and what did I get from it? What did I accomplish? What did I get from it? How did I grow? What did I remember from it that helped me to see, hey, I can apply this to my life? Or was it mainly about comparing yourself, or even not even knowing? I get on it for kicks and giggles, to find things to laugh about, to say, okay, I need to just zone out of the serious mode. Just go in, look real quick, and then get out. But it doesn't always happen that way, because it's so much out there. And then when you begin to start, if you are aware of what you're watching, and you begin to be pulled into your own emotional, how does that respond to me, or how does that compare to me, and you begin to go down those channels, that could be helpful. But once you've gotten in it so far, you don't even feel like doing anything else. So, I mean, we can't allow social media to be our distraction, but we can utilize it to give us a reality check.
Reality check. Absolutely. And sometimes you got to decide it, you have to ask yourself, is what I'm watching something that I need to be watching? Is what I'm looking at something that I desire to be watching? Or am I just watching it because I'm bored, because I'm overwhelmed, right? We watch content sometimes to help us through the boredom, through this overstimulation that we've experienced throughout the day. And so we have to check in with ourselves. There's a couple of tips that I want to give you in order to help to minimize or to lower the distractions. These things have worked tremendously for me, and I suggest them to everyone. One of the things that I learned in regards to social media is that you can unfollow without unfriending. What that means is, say I have a friend, a girlfriend that we're really close, but I don't really care for the content that she posts. She's maybe posting about her baby daddy ain't nothing all day long. She's posting greasy fries, whatever it is. She's posting content that isn't really serving me, or is triggering me in some way of something I'm working on. You can always unfollow that person. It doesn't take the friendship away, so you guys can still be friends. You can still go to their page if you want, when you want to, but it won't pop up on your feed. And that's one of the things that we have to control. We have to control our feed. We have to control the things that we see. So, I'm from South Central Los Angeles, okay? I got a bunch of friends from all walks of life. I got my hood chicks that hop off buses to go beat up people, okay? And so, with that said, some of the people I love dearly be posting like fighting on the
pull up,
they in that type of energy. And so when I first started to shift, I had to go unfollow a lot of them. I had to unfollow because I didn't want to be stuck in that energy. I didn't want to be pulled back to that energy. I didn't want to even allow that energy to enter my mental space. And so I had to unfollow a lot of them. And I decided, once I figured that out, that this was the way to go. When there's things that people post that trigger me, things that people post that aren't in alignment with where I'm trying to go or what I'm trying to see, I had to remove that from my social media. Not because I don't want to engage in them, but because I don't have time for that type of distraction. I had to remove those distractions. And so the first tip I would say is to unfollow anyone or any business or anything that you're following that's not in alignment with who you are and where you are headed, so that you won't have that pop up on your feed. And that can help to rearrange some things, because we've been on these platforms for decades now, and so you may have grown past a lot of the information that is coming up on your timeline and your algorithm, but you haven't did a social media check, like I like to say. You have to check your social media sometime and say, okay, look, I don't want to see this content. Let me hide this. Let me unfollow this page because all they post is fight videos. I remember back in the days there was a large like fight video thing. Everybody was posting fight videos all the time. And so if you don't want to see those things anymore, you have to structure your social media the same way you clean your social media the same way you clean your home.
That's true. That's true. That we talked a little bit about that yesterday of sacred space, right? Sacred space. Not to say sacred is just, oh, holier than thou or a religious space, but it is the space that you create where your energy abides, where you want to be welcomed, where you want to feel like the best part of you to come out and to be inspired and to, help you navigate the energies that do come in that don't support your sacred space. So yeah, that it's very, very important to clean up your social media. Clean it up by really being mindful about what you're viewing, what you're putting out there, and how much energy or comments you're making on stuff, whether it be for it or against it. So let's talk a little bit about how the energies that are being or images on social media or the debates or those things can siphon our energy, being social distractions.
Yes, yes. So I can say the whole scandal that we have been having with it, so many scandals. I mean, there's just too many to even name off the cuff. But I can say for sure the entertainment scandal has been a huge one, mainly because as a melanated being, when we see our reflections, especially our divine masculine reflections, fall from grace, falling very hard, very fast. And with the information that's being put out, that's triggering on so many levels to us in our community. And so as a result, we talk about it and we try to make sense of what is happening when it seems like, oh my goodness, you just came with a whole boatload of information that now we got to digest, process, and can be very triggering for a lot of people. I imagine hearing some of the things that we're hearing in regards to Diddy and the investigation against him and the allegations against him. I can imagine that's triggering even for people who don't know him personally. It's drudging up a lot within our community because there's a lot that we don't talk about in regards to the subject of sexuality, in regards to the subject of sexual trauma, and in regards to the subject of how we hold our entertainers, or idolize, I should say, those who we see on these images, right? We see them on social media, we see them on the TV, and so they start to, we as individuals begin to separate and place these people on a particular pedestal. And so what happens when the fallout happens is there's a social frenzy because we don't know how to accept that this was another person, human being, such as yourself, who made a mistake, a very big one, but who made a mistake.
Yes, and then the way the media utilizes it to play against other things going on in the world, right? To get your focus on this individual's life and this individual's consequences, but it plays on our emotions because, like you said, we've esteemed them, we love their music, we know that there's some wishy-washy things that seems to come out often into our into our lives or into our realities as, is this a real Illuminati something, or is this a this, or is this a that, and it begins to stir our thoughts and our emotions, or is this another black man they trying to pull down, and it just continues to fuel the divide. I see that also with the Trump and Kamala thing. It's
Yes.
like you want to gear to one population and not to the other. You want to gear to women and not the other. Instead of really, and these things cause the turbulence within our being of causing us to not be well, to not be at peace, to be torn, to be distracted. And it's like, really, when you step out and zoom out, does any of this really matter?
That is why I believe this topic was so important for us to tap onto, especially right now, especially at a time like this, because, people are still dealing with the post-traumatic stress of COVID, the post-traumatic stress of being melanated in America, and we are shifting our consciousness. And I will say that I have seen a tremendous shift. I myself personally have shifted away from um, focusing on the, I would say, the perceived, because it's perception, right? Everything is our perception. But I've shifted from focusing on the perceived differences that are made between melanated beings and others in our country and on this planet. And because of that, I've seen a lot of shifts happening. But it's really hard to stay focused on that when you keep getting thrown images, or the media keeps reinforcing the separation, right?
The
They keep
separations and the divide.
reinforcing that separation. So what is happening now? We are training our children to have these same thoughts, and this new generation of children, I will say, even with having the media, they have somehow mastered being able to separate a lot of the bigotry, being able to separate a lot of the prejudices. I have a 10-year-old daughter, so I talk to her a lot about how she views and sees people in the world, and she sees them so differently. And I'm like, how do you see that? I think we're looking at the same type of social media, but for her, that narrative is being switched. And at first, I'll be honest, I was upset with some of the things they were saying socially, in regards to not talking very much about slavery, not, some of the things that they've been pushing as to change the narrative, or to not teach our history. And I was definitely against it. And to some extent, I still am. However, I have seen that because I have not forced those thoughts on my daughter, and the media is, in some aspects, if you have blocks for the kids to just see children's stuff, they're not reinforcing that. It is creating a different energy within the young generation and how they're viewing the world.
Right. And I see that too as the whole trans thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the bigender, or you're not a gender, and how that is being taught to our children. And is that being taught as a distraction as well? Or is that more in alignment with oneness? It's like it becomes very controversial when you look at us being, brought up in different, the Gen Zs, the Gen Xs, and so on, and before our parents, where even the social discussion about sexuality at all was a no-no.
Was a no-no.
Right. So being able to even speak about it, and it is very controversial because people are still, having their ideas and their beliefs, and to say that we are not to teach our children, you're a girl, you're a boy, whatever, I don't really go one side or the other, because it's very individual. I know we all have to come into the divineness of who we are. And I think, in a sense, that's to be discovered. In the way society is flipping it, like, it's like, okay, so now what?
Right. And you know what? there is a fine line between something being a tool and something being a weapon. And I think social media is that fine line. Is it a tool or is it a weapon? And I
Ooh,
think
that's good.
we determine that by who's holding it at the time.
Mhm.
You know, you determine if social media is going to be a tool that you utilize for your evolution, your growth, or if you're going to allow it to be a weapon of destruction within your life. And one of the things that I know I've struggled with personally with social media, and I know many of us struggle with, especially our teens and our young adults, is that we are shown an image of snippets of what people's lives look like, right? If they go to a dinner, if they're going out with their boyfriend. And so we saw that depression and anxiety are on the rise as technology begins to grow. And I think that one of the things we have to understand is everything is subjective.
Yeah.
And that we are fortunate enough to have social media and have a lot of the social constructs changing to where we can be more free and vulnerable to be ourselves. But in the same token, we have to kind of still take everything with a grain of salt and not
Yeah.
hold ourselves to the social standard that we may be seeing on our screens.
Yes, good point. Good point. Because, like you said, we are showing the best parts of our lives in most occasions, or what we esteem as the best parts of our lives, with even people who are on a lower frequency. Like, yeah, that was the best day of my life, and you done went and tore up some stuff. Like, really? Okay. But this is how it's meant to function. We're going to showcase what we think people are going to see, or want what we want people to see, right? Because we want them to see this good, even if it's on a lower vibration, that
Right.
we did and we're a part of. Not often do we see people at their lowest. Or
Exactly.
and if we do see them at their lowest, we're quick to judge that and say what the motive behind showing the lowest was. So it's constantly that judging and perceiving and intentionalizing what we're viewing. So I mean, in a big scale, social media can be a great tool for reaching people that you can't reach by your paths may never cross, but they have something for you that you can utilize and put into your spirit and combine with their spirit to see what you're able to create in your space. But it also, like you said, can pull you into a whole nother area that you don't even want to be in. So being able to utilize the points you gave by unfollowing, or really being mindful of what you comment and scroll on, or like or dislike on, because you don't want to continue to see that. And then limiting your time.
Yes.
Limiting your time. There's ways that you can put blockers on your social media, where it only allows you to actively log in, that they're not constantly sending you notifications. You can utilize those blockers, or you can use a timer. Like, okay, I know I like scrolling and just seeing what pops up, but I'm only going to do that for 20 minutes. And then I'm going to put my phone down. When you're in social gatherings, this is one thing I can say. Please, please, please. When you are around people, take time to feel that, make that connection. Make that sit down and let's have a conversation. Or when you're going out to eat with your friends, let's put our phones away so that we can engage and exchange energy. Because or not knowingly, every time you're scrolling, your energy is being spent.
Yes.
It's being given to the source of all energy, social media. It's draining you. But when you can have a dialogue with a person, it can give back. It can truly exchange, like the reciprocation of energy. And it's very important to take that time too, because we cannot be so socially mediatized. I made that up.
I made up a word.
Yes, I made that up. We
Media
can't be, yes, we can't be that where we can't even connect with people. One of my other sisters said, she was like, yeah, y'all in the chat, chatting it up, boop, boop, boop. Everybody he and ho-hoing with each other in these chat groups. And then when y'all get in the same space, why is it awkward?
Come
Why
on
is it
now. Come
why
on
is it
now.
awkward where you don't even know what to say? You don't know how to be. You don't know what to do because you've been in this whole world of this is my friend we he. But then you meet them in person and you like stuck.
Yeah,
We got
yeah.
to do better.
We
We
have
got
to
to do better.
absolutely. One of you mentioned about putting the phone down, and I absolutely love that are releasing the distraction. I learned about 5 or 6 years ago. Um, at the time, I had took the TV out of my room, but since then I'm in a relationship, and he wants the TV in a room, so it's back in the room. But I had heard that not having a TV in your room was really good for helping you to fall asleep, anxiety, because obviously you're not going to get into bed and turn the TV on like you would if it was in there. But one of the things that I've started to implement since then is putting my phone down at least an hour to 2 hours before I intend to get into bed. Not answering any phone calls unless it's important, so that I can allow my mind to rest. We are thrown images all day, every day, okay? And we're not always completely consciously aware of what images are impacting us. We don't
Mm-hmm.
know why we're craving that cheeseburger because we didn't realize that we didn't see 15 advertisements for a cheeseburger and passed 3 billboards on the way home. And so now we want a cheeseburger. And we're like, oh, I got a taste for a cheeseburger. You should.
Because
You
that's
should.
what's been sent to you over
That's
and
what's been
over
sent to
again.
you. And so not only that, we're getting so many images, and for me sometimes it's hard for me to slow down at night because I am a very energetic person. I have a million things on my mind, and so slowing down in the evening is sometimes difficult for me, especially when I've gone into scroll mode. There's an hour of the day where nobody's really ringing your phone. And if you got it in your hand, you're gonna get lost in the TikTok shuffle or in the, you're gonna get lost in it because you're gonna see one video and then you're gonna scroll. And
Another.
I'm not even gonna front. Sometimes they be good videos, they be inspirational videos. You'll know when I've been on a scrolling binge because I'll repost like 5 different affirmations or whatever that I didn't see because I didn't went on this scrolling binge when really what I need to do is put that down and allow my mind to rest.
Yes. And that's really what it's all about because really I seen in one of our comments that my sister's on the line, give thanks for her. Shout
Okay.
out to Lolo. She said that she was commenting on the awkwardness of people. She said because most times when we are on social media, we can be whoever we want to be. We are impersonating a persona of us. So that persona of us can speak freely and be present in this social media group and show up, and nobody is right in your face. But when they see you face to face, now there's a different energy because the persona on the social media is not the same as you showing up.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you talked about the online personas because that has been one of my biggest challenge with coming up and showing up online. It's like, okay, the persona, I gotta be so perfect. I gotta have my turban on, face gotta be beat to the nine. And even today, I was like, okay, look, I've been kind of cleaning up, doing little stuff around the house. I'm gonna lipstick on, but look, here I am. I'm popping on because we talking about distraction, and I'm not gonna let anything distract me. I'm not gonna let the persona, because that's real. That's real. Some of us have a persona online that isn't authentic to who we are in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And so it blocks how
And
we
it
show up.
and it really I see that as a plus as well, because you can begin to impersonate somebody, hopefully, that you truly want to be, right? So even me in coming on to these calls and having my crown on, because the visual that we're adjusting crowns, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I even challenged myself one day. I was like, what would it be like if I wore this crown out in my everyday life? How would people respond to me, right? What would people think about this crown? Not to say that my personality and my persona is not what you see. What you see is what you get. But it's just about how people perceive you, right? And how people perceive you is how you present yourself. And most often, some people will know you behind the scenes and be like, oh, she out there perpetrating, whoop, whoop. But is it a real perpetration? Or is it, in some cases, it is, because a lot of people are out here doing the most with the littlest.
Making the phone for real.
and that's the truth. But if it inspires you to grow into becoming that person and having a social platform that you can show up as the person you truly wish to be, maybe it can filter into the truth of your reality. I mean, is that a possibility as well?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that I absolutely love about social media is the endless possibilities. We are creating a new world. As we see, we are creating the new level. I know that the AI technology that's coming out and that is out is scary. Oh gosh. I know that it's okay, Callie. Hold on, I'm gonna get you a lollipop. Go have a seat, please. Okay? Thank you. The AI technology is something is this girl is gonna give me a hard time. Here, use mommy phone. You can use mommy phone because the technology, the distraction of the technology, even the babies want it.
Look, come through. Get a baby what she want. Get a baby what she want.
Look, give her what she want. Get it. Look, Callie, you almost did good. We almost made it. Here, watch mommy. Go upstairs and watch mommy. Thank you. So, what I was saying is that AI technology has been something that has been really scary for a lot of us. But what is happening is it's allowing us to see ourselves outside of ourselves. It's allowing us to really show up authentic to ourselves if we utilize it in that way. And so now is really the time for you to start discovering, who am I? Who do I want to become? Who do I want to see? Because these social constructs are the I don't even want to say beginning stages, because it started, like I said, with these smartphones. But this AI technology is really helping to advance the new world. And being in harmony with that means understanding who we are and really moving according to that, and not moving according to what the distractions are guiding you to, but really moving towards your heart center. Because if we keep moving with the distractions, then we're fulfilling someone else's prophecy. But if we move with authenticity, which is what I think we're being pushed into, is to decide. This is the great divide is happening now.
The great divide is about the decide. Decide which day, what you gonna do.
Yeah, decide who you are, what you're moving towards, and move accordingly. Because when you move based on distractions, based on the fear mongering that happens with social media, because they place things in here to make us fearful, right?
Yes.
To make us afraid. You know, they've been showing us a lot about expats having a hard time in various countries. I have a bunch of friends that are expats that love it and are welcomed by the community. Why? Because they want to shift that narrative. They don't want us following our heart soul to do the things that may be contradictory to the, I guess, mass goal of where they would like the masses to go.
The matrix agenda.
The matrix agenda. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Because it's really about being able to see past the illusion, right? Being able to see past the illusion to begin to create a narrative that you truly want to participate with. Like we said before, our words become things, our visions become things, everything that we see becomes a reality in some space. Right? So if we're taking in the things we don't want, we're going to continue to get more of the things we don't want. But if we begin to take in the things that we truly desire without perpetrating, without violating the rights of others, but showing up in your truth, it really does change your world. It changes even the social media distractions, because now they become some insights, some affirmations, some positive ideas, creative expressions. It becomes that instead of the lower vibrational frequencies. So even if you get caught up in a binge, it's still going to be uplifting to your spirit overall. It's going to be uplifting to your spirit overall. So we are here for this. We are here to just kind of really dive into these things that we experience on an everyday, as it applies to social media, as it applies to our own personal lives, as it applies to just the ideas and the emotions and the triggers and the frustrations that social media brings up. Once it's there, do you have the tools, something with it that will be beneficial to your existence, to be a benefit to your overall experience of life? Like Lady Unk said, sometimes we have these people on here posting about being happy-go-lucky and living their best life, and then tomorrow we hear they done committed suicide. Where's the disconnect there? And why is there a disconnect there? So we have to really begin to show up in our spaces as our truth and utilize the time when we're in community to engage with people. Really ask those hard questions and feel free to express your truth. Sis, are you good? No, I ain't good.
I ain't good.
I'm not good, right? So having those spaces, this is your circle. This is your circle. And this is what we're trying to build in community, to have those resources and have those people in your space so that when you're asked, are you good? You don't have to say you are if you're not. You can be encouraged and space can be held for you to just be not good, but then to be given tools to help you transmute the energy, because it's really energy. We're all energy. Everything within you is energy. And when we begin to hold on to this negative or low vibration of energy, it begins to play with our body, and our body does in fact keep the score. So if you haven't read that book, that's a great book. Check it out. Your body.
I'm definitely going to check that one out. Thanks, sis, for that. As we begin to wrap up, sis, I'm not seeing any of the names on here. Do you want to shout out anyone that you've seen?
Sure. Like I shouted out before, my sister Lolika Thomas was in the house. Our sacred sister Cassie Ward was in the house. Our other soul sister Sola Ajay was in the house. Also, we have Another soul sister, Patricia Dixon, was in the house. She has a really great social media platform about self-care. She hosts that circle, lots and lots of affirmative words being placed there, and living your best life. The mansions, the beautiful visuals of what your sacred, most abundant, glorious, blessed life would look like. Our
Yes.
Mutsa Nefer was in the house. She's one of our sacred sisters, sacred practitioners, longtime soul sister in the business and in this healing business. We had Susan Saran Davis also in the house. And so we say thank you. We say thank you for coming into our circle, coming into our space. You want to shout out our offering?
Yes. So if you don't know, now you know. We are hosting a 12-week deep dive into you, honoring yourself and embracing the queen within. Okay, this 12-week journey will give you 12 principles, some of which we've touched on in the podcast, and we will touch on. But we go deep in and allow you to see yourself outside of yourself. That's one of my favorite
See yourself outside of yourself.
We allow you to go deeper within. We touch on each gateway for a week. I should say each principle for a week. And we really help you to identify your triggers, set boundaries, release traumas. Those are our main objectives. And to give you tools and techniques that you can use throughout your daily life. We will be going in deep. We will be loving on you during this process. We know the healing journey and taking accountability for your own wellness is a very trying thing to do. And so because of that, we are making sure to give all of ourselves to you. And so for 12 weeks, you'll be able to join us. It's $555 for the 12 weeks. Part of that will be able to be used towards the, we have a grand gala, which I'll be showing you some images of in just a moment.
The activation retreat.
Our activation.
Activate your minds, activate your hearts. Yes. Come into the space of I am because I am. Because I am. That's it, right?
So our activation retreat is a weekend retreat that allows you to connect with your sisters in person, allows us to touch on those topics and things that we discussed throughout the 12-week journey. You could decide to come in one of two ways. You can journey with us for the 12 weeks so that you have additional knowledge of and you are able to fortify your lifestyle. Or for our sacred sisters or some of those who may be familiar with the principles, you can come join us and join the circle of women to lend additional support to those sisters, to find additional support for you all, because obviously we are a teacher, student,
and master of this
and master all in one. And so it is just a great time and opportunity for us to meet with each other in space and live in a divine way with one another in a collective for a few days so that we can fortify our sisterhood. And that's what this whole entire cohort, as well as the retreat, is about, fortifying your circle of sisters. Okay.
Yes. Coming as strangers and leaving as stars. Sister, you
I love that. Coming as strangers and leaving as stars. Did you just think of that?
Hey, that was my sister's comment. Hey.
Oh, I love that. She been on one today. Hey,
yes. And I am grateful for it. So we are going to leave you guys with a wonderful video of just the sisterhood. And like we've said before in other of our podcasts, we are both life coaches. We both have worked with women for many of years, and we also have our own life experience. But most importantly, we've come into the circle as sacred women, and sacred women doesn't look all religious. Believe me, Sacred Woman is a work, and Sacred Woman is who you are. It's who you are. As Lady Unk says, we are all sacred women. Some of us just haven't ascended. So as we leave you with our video, we want to send love and light and remind you that we are the Soul Sisters speaking out and fixing crowns in the process. Peace and love.
Peace.
This is not showing.
It's not showing it?
No. Start over.
Okay, I thought it was showing it.
Nope. We are. Oh, she said it was showing. Give thanks. Play it back. Run it back one time. You see, we ain't the IT professionals, but we do try to make it work. So run it back one time, sis. She said she could see it. You got it all inside of you.
Give. Oh,
we on the.
Sorry.
We on the technology was overcharged by all that.
You want to talk about us today?
But that was beautiful. That was beautiful. That was one of our my very first retreat for my birthday, which was so powerful. And we are looking to run it back. We are looking to run it back. So hopefully you guys got to see the video. If not, we're going to post it in our comeback throughout the week or tomorrow, and maybe it'll be our intro music. So until tomorrow, see you at 11 and see you at 2.
Peace and love.